Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 9. Today we're going to be breaking down some new photos that have been released by the CW itself, as well as some behind the scenes leaks that we need to talk about because a dead character is coming back to the show. So obviously we need to discuss everything surrounding that. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay, so this video is going to be a good one. Please stick around throughout the entire video. We've got a lot of information to go through and break down. So first things first, we're going to be breaking down the TV line photos that have been released by the CW, and so these are the new first look photos into episode 2, and so they have 2 exclusives in there from the final season. Obviously previously there were some more photos that were released initially when they released that first trailer, but these are brand new photos, so maybe you haven't seen them, maybe you've seen them, but we're going to break them down. So the first photo is this. Barry is out in public, he's in his flash suit and he is facing off against what is presumably Captain Boomerang, if we're basing it off of his interactions in the trailer, because it seems to look like a similar location. I haven't actually double checked that, so if I get that wrong, I apologize. That's just a misstep by me. But you can obviously see that Barry is smiling here, so seemingly maybe he's got the upper hand in this kind of situation. I have to also point out his suit looks awesome, and this type of photo gets me really excited to see Barry and the Flash back in action. Okay, so the second photo I have is of Barry, and he is kind of just leaning on this bar. I presume it's outside of Star Labs. I don't know what his face is entirely saying. Well, I can interpret what it's saying, but I don't know what it's exactly about. But it looks like a face of, not sadness, but kind of contemplation. Yes, a face of contemplation is what I would say. So he's thinking about something that has probably happened in this episode. Okay, so the next photo is of Barry once again. I don't know if this is in their apartment or somewhere else, but it doesn't look like Star Labs at all. There is curtains in the background and there is this specific wallpaper, but Barry is dressed differently, and so it makes you think this is definitely on a different day, because in the previous photo he's wearing a different shirt, and in this he's wearing like a checkered shirt as well as a coat. And again, his looks say a lot. It doesn't seem like Barry is very much so in a good mindset. Maybe this is all coming about after what we saw in the trailer when Iris revealed to him that she doesn't want to know too much about the future and she's kind of worried about it. Or this could be Barry going to the future and stumbling across something he's not supposed to stumble across. I'm not sure. I presume he would be wearing his Flash suit while time traveling, but he's done it without his suit before, so I can't really make too many presumptions. Okay, so we have another cool photo of Barry outside in his Flash suit. Once again, such a cool photo. It's just so exciting to see this. Obviously you have to realize that this is the Flash's final season, so this is like the last photos we're going to see before an episode 1 or a premiere episode. This is going to be our final premiere episode of the Flash for a new season. Okay, so the next photo is a West Allen photo. We have Barry and Iris side by side. This actually matches up with the trailer, with them facing off against Captain Boomerang. So for some reason Iris is here, probably assisting Barry. Maybe she has some sort of weapon on her, but by the looks of the photo it seems they've already defeated him, or at least maybe he's run away, or they've just like incapacitated him, and so they're smiling and everything looks to be all good after they fought against Captain Boomerang. Okay, so the next photo we have is of Chester in Star Labs. You can see all of his calculations, and he is either in a hazmat suit, so for radiation and some sort of experiment that maybe Chester's been doing, or he is in a bomb suit, so you know, a protection if you want to defuse a bomb. I'm gonna lean more towards the hazmat suit. Potentially this has something to do with Caitlin, because we know that Caitlin has been moved to Star Labs, her pod. Maybe this has something to do with that, unless this is a Chester experiment and he's just found the need to get like a hazmat suit and put it on to protect himself from whatever he is doing. Okay, so the next and final photo that we have is of Allegra at CC Citizen Media. As you can see in the background, she is talking to what I presume is Iris, because this is Iris's office and it just makes complete sense. So yeah, they're just in conversation. Allegra seems to be happy. That's pretty much my analysis as to the photos. But for now, we need to talk about one very, very important thing, and this is coming from Canadagraphs. Now, this concerns not episode 1 that we were just talking about, but future episodes. And so this is coming from his Patreon, which is obviously linked in the description below if you want to stay up to date with everything that goes on up in Vancouver. And so he has some spoilers for episode 10 of season 9 with 4 returning characters. Plus, it's an episode being directed by Eric Wallace, the showrunner of the show, and also he has found out the title to the episode. So we're going to break this down. So the Flash cast and crew filmed scenes on Monday and Tuesday in downtown Vancouver in an area they have been using quite frequently in the last couple of years. Monday started with them filming inside CBC studio, and the day's exterior scene had 2 returning characters on set filming, that being Jesse L. Martin as Joe West, who was filming with Patrick Sabungu, sorry if I'm saying his name wrong, I definitely butchered his name, but David Singh, so the old head of CCPD. And the setting seemed to be set in the past, maybe the 90s or 80s, ads in the area including one for an older model computer, as well as ads for CC Jitters and Big Belly Burger, as well as there were some older style cop cars there with some older model civilian cars. On top of that, Joe was wearing a police officer jacket and Singh's hair looked different than it does these days. So there you go, that's pretty much Canadagraphs examining the scene and what was filmed. Seems they are doing a flashback, or they are going and doing time travel, and so we're just seeing the past in any case, and so that is pretty much consistent all around. If you look at the return of David Singh and the fact that Joe is back and he is wearing a police officer uniform, which obviously he doesn't do anymore, plus also the cars and the advertisements, it all gives it away. So this episode is going to be an interesting episode. Remember, this is episode 10. This comes after the Arrow episode where Stephen Amell is returning, as well as Kid Flash and a bunch of other characters. And so yeah, this is a big episode too, but obviously this is heavy on the Flash, and this is leading into the final 3 episodes after this. So episode 11, 12 and then 13, which will be the finale of the entire show. And so let's continue with Canadagraphs' blog. He says the scene that had them investigating a crime in the middle of the street, with Singh walking up to Joe, saying a couple of things and then walking away to talk to some other officers. Then Joe walks over and grabs something that he's described as a crystal off the ground. And on Tuesday they were back in the same block. This time 2 completely different returning guest stars were on set, along with Grant Gustin as Barry Allen, that being John Wesley Shipp was on set as Henry Allen, which is of note, and Michelle Harrison as Nora Allen. So there you go, that is not Joan and Jay Garrick. This is in fact, they were on set playing Henry Allen and Nora Allen. You can tell based on their clothes and based on, you know, the fact that they have a wedding ring, they're together, and Joan doesn't look like Joan, so it's not just a flashback or something to when they were younger. It's in fact Barry's parents. And obviously this is of massive significance because it definitely teases the idea that maybe Barry is time traveling, especially since Grant Gustin was on set at the same time as Barry Allen. So the trio did a scene that had Henry and Nora walking together, but then they are all of a sudden interrupted as Barry is suddenly thrust into the area, falling into the middle of the street. So there you go, that's the confirmation of time travel. So this is not just a flashback, this is Barry inserting himself, time traveling, going back to this time, and this is your evidence. And so Henry and Nora run over to an unconscious Barry, and Nora gets an old style flip phone when Henry checks Barry's vitals. So after a while they left the set and they brought in some stunt doubles to them, and Michelle stayed to do the dialogue part of her character scene while Grant's double gets thrown across the concrete. So there you go, that is the return of Barry's parents and the confirmation that this is in fact a time travel episode. So episode 10 is one to look out for. But there is one more thing. I need to talk about the title of the episode plus the one returning character who is in fact dead. And that person is, of course, Rick Cosnett, who was working on that day. And Canadagraphs is specifically saying that he doesn't know what character he was playing, but he knows he was there on that specific day. So you can obviously take that as you will. And for me, if we look at the evidence and what's going on in this entire scene that they've been shooting in the last couple of days, we've established that this is time travel. Barry has gone back in the past. And if we presume they're shooting relatively chronologically, like this is all happening in one episode, which is episode 10, the fact that Rick Cosnett is there, we can infer that Eddie is there, because remember, Eddie would have still been alive at this point, and maybe he was joining the police, and so that's why he's been seen on set. And you can presume there's going to be some scenes between him, Joe, and maybe Captain Singh as well. But you wonder what this all means. Well, let's talk about the episode title, because maybe we'll get a better answer, and it's titled A New World Part 1. So from that you can infer this is a two-parter episode, so episode 10 and 11 seemingly confirmed to be a two-part episode according to what Canadagraphs saw whilst he was up in Vancouver on the set of The Flash Season 9 Episode 10. So what could a new world mean? Well, clearly timeline changes. That's like the main thing that my mind goes to, considering that Barry popped out of nowhere and he is greeted by his parents, and obviously they look like how they used to look, and he looks like how he is in the present, so it's time travel. And so this whole new world potentially is timeline changes, and this is what's been teased in the most recent trailer with Barry's scrapbook. It's all very irresponsible in terms of him controlling the timeline, and so there is definitely the potential for a whole new world. I don't know if it's definitely to do with that, but that's what I can infer from what we've been told and what we know as of right now. So also I wanted to note before the end of this video that I think it's actually very likely with them going back, and considering this is near the end of the final season of The Flash, that we could be seeing the original timeline Flash. Now, if this is where Barry's gone back to and there is some sort of crossing over between the two of them in terms of their timelines, there definitely could be that point where we meet them again. Now, I'm not saying that this is, you know, within the same couple of days or couple of weeks that Nora Allen's death was, because that's obviously the key moment where we first originally saw original timeline Flash. But considering that this is a two-part episode, that there is more to the story, and Barry has revealed himself in the past right now to his mum and dad, I feel like he's going to try and correct the timeline, and could it lead to the events that actually occurred in season 1? That is the big question as of right now. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. I feel like it's very, very possible that we are leading towards seeing the original timeline Flash again, and maybe Barry actually being the original timeline Flash, because he is that version of the Flash right now that the younger version of Barry saw when he went back in season 1 and first saw and witnessed the death of his mum, not as a child but as the Flash. That pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and you're looking forward to the Flash finally coming in under 2 weeks time, remember it's coming out on February 8th. That is a Wednesday at 8/7 Central on the CW. We're going to be making a review / breakdown video, as we always do, right after the episode. So once you've watched it, chill for like an hour or so and check back on my YouTube channel, and obviously I'm going to have that video up on the channel ASAP for you guys. So if you are looking forward to it, turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Also subscribe if you haven't. I know a lot of you probably aren't subscribed, so that is a big thing if you want to be notified about any videos. Also leave a like and a comment on this video if you enjoyed this specific one, and go check out my recent videos. Also, I did a live stream, we talked about this a little bit as well back yesterday. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and so I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.